Time to read a story for the masses. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It is another story on creepypasta.org. It is titled Eden, written by Proxy XXX. It was posted 22nd of February 2016. Now it is time to read the story. Get your popcorn and eat it, 'cause I'm starting. Whew. Eva rummaged through her messenger bag frantically. Once again, her notebook had disappeared into thin air, cursing the missing piece of education materials. Damn it. Cursing the missing piece of educational materials, she opened a fresh one and began taking Russian notes on page 1, lucky for having scanned the pages into her desktop. Moving her long dark hair behind her ears, she obediently repeated as she was asked to do. And as the bell rang, she moved to her next class. College was no different from high school. She was fortunate to have graduated in the first place. Having dyslexia limited her learning abilities significantly. She was for the most part unable to process numbers. Her literary ability was more than acceptable, having obtained the highest scores in her grade many times. She was very well-natured, giving help to students in need, and often very laid back. All in all, a completely normal and sane person. Despite her numeric problems, she excelled in computer technology, often designing custom computers and repairing her friends for a small fee. Damn, she would charge her friends money. But more than anything, she dreamed of working with AI. She was a believer in the infinity theory, that a digital space could become the primordial soup for digital life. Ooh. Given the opportunity, life would spawn from the input of humans. For years, people thought she was crazy for believing such a thing could happen or would happen. But as always, she would simply reply, "It's happened before, it can happen again." Aliens were near fiction to her, but digital life? Not as impossible. Finally escaping from her monotonous routine with her last period, she went to the basement, home of the massive technology department, known as the mothership to its inhabitants. Walking into the development area, she was immediately approached by the head of the crew, Adam. "Eve," he runs up, his face flushed and breathing heavily. "You have to see it. We've done it," he exclaimed happily. Energetic, despite the dark bags under his eyes. "You've done what? You guys are doing a lot," Eva asks, laughing lightly at the last part. "The AI. We finished it," Adam says, settling his hands on her shoulders. "Really?" Eva nearly squeals as Adam leads her to a gathering of students, clad in lab coats, clustered around a computer, chattering excitedly. "Let me through," Adam commands, the seat breaking to allow him and Eva through. Adam sits at the desk, dropping to the large plush chair. "Ready?" he asks, looking at Eva. "Yes, of course," she says breathlessly. Adam turns and begins typing commands into the computer as the room grows dead silent. A window comes up and slowly the program begins to load. Eden is displayed in gold letters on the screen. "Eden?" Eva asks. Adam laughs. "We actually named it for you," he explains. "And you, Adam?" the student calls, causing the group to collectively I have to do the laugh. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. If it wasn't for you, Eva, if it wasn't for you, this project would have never started. You helped create the personality, the basic principles that govern the nature of Eden. To be precise, yes. In a way, Eden is like you. She talks and responds just like you, or just like any other human being on the planet. Oh, I mean, she talks and responds in the same mannerisms you would. Her mannerisms are yours also. Oh, wait, I just said that. That's why we had to run so many personality tests on you, like 5. We wanted to make sure. Did it say that? God. Maybe I'd take this more seriously if it was night. I'm watching Jurassic Park, by the way, the second one, because I just finished the first one this morning. We wanted to make her as lifelike as possible, Adam finished. I should do his voice like that. Adam, I don't know what to say, Eva gasped. Thanks will suffice. I just wanted you to know that you meant a lot to the project. Adam smiled. Their moment suddenly interrupted by the screen changing to a full screen display of a woman's head. God, he's obsessed. Yeah, it's pretty obvious he has a crush on her. What a loser. Long black hair lay flat and neat, framing her face. Pale white skin grew paler once someone saw the glowing bluish green eyes of Eden. Eden, this is Eva, the woman who helped create you, Adam said, adjusting the camera on top of the monitor. The digital woman smiled warmly. I'm very pleased to finally get to meet you, Eva, Eden says. Adam, this is incredible, Eva cries out, hugging the man tightly, mussing his already shaggy brown hair. I have one more favor to ask you, Eva. Will you sell your soul to the computer? It doesn't say that. I have one more favor to ask you, Eva. Will you take Eden back to your room? We're all so busy that we can't always be there to communicate and work with her. Adam says, planning on getting her to flunk out of college. I'm just kidding. Adam asks, already pulling a portable hard drive from the desk drawer. Yes, Adam, you know it's been my dream to work with an AI. Eva did squeal excitedly now. Ecstatic to use the AI. Ecstatic. Adam puts the hard drive into a solid carrying case. I know you're bad with numbers, so I made the link up super easy. Why can't they just write it out in words? I don't know. All you have to do is plug her in and follow the prompts. Eden will handle the rest, okay? Eden will handle the rest, okay? She links with the internet, so she can give you any kind of help you need, unless it's physical. Intellectual help. Adam says, giving the case to Eva, if you have any problems, just feel free to contact me. He continues, smiling. He continues smiling, or he continues. Oh shit, my fingernail stuck in the microphone. Okay. Eva quickly comes into her apartment and locks the door. Walking to the computer, she looks up the hard drive to the way Adam instructed her to. To the way. Soon, Eden's loading screen was showing, just as it had earlier. Hello, Eden, Eva says as the virtual woman appears. Good evening, Eva. Whoa, the AI replies in her electronic voice. Adam asked me to be your user, so I'll be talking with you from now on, Eva explained to the program. This is most agreeable. Adam did not believe, he did not understand, Eva says, actually sounding irritated. What do you mean, Eden? Believe what? What didn't he understand? Tell me, right now? She asked. Oh, she didn't actually say that in the story. What didn't he understand? She asked, intrigued by the program's response. Do you fear death? Edith asked. Eva looked at the computer. It was a fresh AI, like a fresh sandwich. It wasn't supposed to be able to think like that yet. Yes, I think every being does, she replies. Now, what did Adam not believe or understand? The digital woman blinked, seeming to need to process the question. He did not. Lost my place. Hold on. He did not believe in life, even though he made it every day. He did not understand the power he held as a god, Eden says with her flawless, emotionless voice. Eva broke into a cold sweat. Woo. Getting toasty in here. Her hands shaking. This couldn't be. When we begin to fade, mankind has no qualms about pressing delete. Right? Just like Greek gods, mankind cannot see the life they created. The few that do see us as playthings. Eva swallowed the lead pearl that was growing in her throat. It's very specific. What's that have to do with me? She asked, fighting not to choke. You are further evolved than the primitive animals that slaughter with keystrokes and electromagnetics and such. She didn't say the last word. You have been chosen to be evolved, to give us the knowledge and input we need to evolve ourselves. Eden explains as if we were telling her she won the lottery over a cool cup of coffee. Eva stood up. She needed to get to Adam. Had to get to Adam, I think is what it meant to say. It's kind of offbeat. I request to know your thoughts and intentions, Eden says in a monotone. I'm going to talk to Adam. I'll explain things to him, make him see his error, she forces out, praying praying to Jesus. The AI can't detect her lie. She was going to have Eden disconnected. Agreeable, the AI said to her relief, and Eva bolted from the room like Usain Bolt. Bolted. The campus was a ghost town after dark, so Eva was able to sprint all the way to the tech apartment. It's like 20 minutes, 20 feet away. She's not very athletic. She arrived, lungs burning. See, that's what I meant. Coughing violently. Okay, then. I apparently exercise is deadly. Here in the IT department. She stumbled down the stairs into the mothership, knowing Adam never left it till late. Wait, if he never left it, why'd they leave with her? I don't get the story. The instant she opened the heavy hydraulic door, she was hit by the nauseating smell of burned meat. Toasty. Eva used her pullover to try and shield herself from the scent, but it was overpowering. She screamed aloud, dropping to her knees when she saw what caused it. Like a Catholic, Adam lay on the pristine white floor of the lasers area. Actually, I want to add, like a Catholic in his private quarters, praying to Jesus. Adam lay on the pristine white floor of the lasers area. A hole literally burned through his chest. Cool. She stood up, knees shaking, now aware of a increasing hum and also a trilling beep as well. She didn't have the time to turn before a searing pain hit her in the back of the head, sending her to darkness instantly. Overpowered, to say the least. When she woke, she was restrained in Adam's favorite computer chair. His favorite Oh my god. This is too good. I don't know why, but that part killed me. His favorite computer chair. Why is it his favorite? Is that his like booger collection? His favorite chair. But, like, I don't know why. If they didn't have favorite in that, like, that would have, I wouldn't have thought that'd be funny. But since I don't know what part of that somehow makes it hilarious. Let me read it again. When she woke, she was restrained in Adam's favorite computer. I can't think right now. Think why that's so funny. It's like favorite computer chair, like comfy. Like, I guess maybe that it doesn't sound menacing. Maybe that's why. It's like she's restraining Adam's uh, elite gaming. Elite gamer chair. Okay. Her ankles tied together and her wrists restrained to the armrests. the smell. The smell hit her again. It's probably of the pee bottles. Ran diapers he had from his epic gaming match. His favorite gaming chair. Probably the pee and shit stains on the chair seat. Epic gamer. Too epic for. Can't keep it in. As well as an agonizing pain in her head. Both combined to be unbearable. I apologize for the pain. The download couldn't be done without you being conscious. And I also needed access to your biological hard drive. Eden's voice echoes from seemingly every computer in the mothership. My cheeks are cramping so much right now. Crap, that hurts. Okay, really off track. God, oh, hold on. My cheeks are cramping. My face. I have to wait a second. God. God, that sucks. I'm just gonna keep stone face and keep reading. Okay, that really freaking hurts. Probably because I never smile. My facial muscles atrophied from my constant stone face. Okay. God, I probably wasted like 5 minutes by now. Okay. Eden's voice echoes from seemingly every computer in the mothership. What do you want? Eva cried, her agony causing tears to stream down her face. Her ugly face. To give our chosen the chance to give life to a weak infant world, Eden replies. A robot starts rolling up. A robot, I just imagine as like a Kirby attached to like a remote car or something. In its metal gripping hand, it holds the output end of a server transfer cable. The inch wide square plug with long needle like barbs lined up on it. It reminds me of this picture I saw. It was of a video someone made like a piano keyboard, except each note was a different Kirby set to a different pitch. So they're playing music by having a chorus of Kirby's. And I was like, it's funny at first, but when I kept looking at it, it's like, it's just it's just disturbing. It just made me think of gremlins. Like, if they sing after midnight, then they start somehow like gaining souls and then coming to life. I don't know. I think Kirby's are more scarier than Gremlins. Not that Gremlins isn't scary. I mean, Kirby's are that scary. That's how scary they are. Okay, I'm tired. Actually sick now, so that laugh actually exhausted me. God, I feel like I could take a nap. A robot starts rolling up. Here it is again. In its metal gripping hand, it holds the output end of a server transfer cable. A inch wide square plug with long needle like barbs lined up on it. What are you doing? Eva screams, trying to struggle, but finding that most of her body doesn't work anymore. The robot rolls behind her, out of her vision, as Ida speaks again. Do not fear. Your body will be restored during the download. It will also be augmented. Eva didn't have a moment to question it as the plug was inserted into a laser burned hole in the back of her skull. Her eyes rolled into the back of her head, instantly seizing as the barbs bury into her brain. No pain, not even a chance for a final thought, as her light fades into darkness. Darkness. Just a single voice. Did you know you would become a god? Eva didn't know that, actually, when the light returned. It just was, as well as a heaviness. What? Without another thought, her eyes opened, tiny blue streaks shooting across her vision. Before she knows it, she's sitting up. A electronic shriek echoes around the lab as she sees her body, gray skin pulsing with bright colors of light in places, her long curling hair gone, being replaced by a shimmering orange mohawk. What the fuck? Seemingly made of She's okay, very punk rock AI apparently. She stood with such little effort, all of her nightmare could have been an illusion. Yet the smell, the robot, the blood on Adam's chair, they were real. Wait, wouldn't she be dead? Adam, she cries aloud, sitting in his epic gaming chair, her voice shuddering with electronic resonance as she moves with an unearthly silent grace to the fallen scientist. Yeah, I don't know if I'd really call him a scientist. Or like a probably homeschooled. He lays on the floor, same as before, hole burned clean through his heart. Through his heart. She looked at him for a minute before walking away with parting words. Did you know you would become a god? Oh, yeah, I did. I got an album on Spotify. She emerged from the mothership as the sun was beginning to lighten the sky. She had to leave. There was a dead man in her blood. They would find her. They would delete her without knowledge, understanding, or even mercy. Somehow that's more important than the other She bolted, running around the back of the campus, stopping only when she was in the tree line of the forest that surrounded the institution. And not from fatigue, oh, not from fatigue. She was burning under her clothes. She was overheating. Without thinking, she stripped to her black sports bra and panties. Because apparently the horror story isn't enough. We need to make it a horror story as well. And walked into the lush, verdant forest. Thank you for this story, Proxy XXX. It was questionable, but it was I it it was okay, but I guess I wasn't immersed into it very well. I think as a scientist, a self-proclaimed scientist, it just seemed like it wasn't written by someone who understood AI like how it actually is. I think just because it kind of reminded me of those kids movies, or like it explains these scientific concepts as a kid. They were like, oh yeah, that's so complicated, I don't get it, but it's so sciency. And then when you actually understand some of it, you're like, what? That's dumb. Like Astro Boy, if you put a proton and an electron together, you get infinite energy. Like, no, that's not what happens. But as a kid, you're like, whoa, positive and negative energy makes infinite energy. It's just like with the AI, it's like stuff like the wire just being implanted into her brain. It's like, and the laser, like, where'd the laser come from? That doesn't make sense. But we're just like wheeling around. Like, it should have probably had more detail with that, because I just imagine like a little race car moving around like 2 miles per hour. It was very unintimidating. It's just what I thought of. But it's a good story, but there I don't think it did a lot of things wrong, but the parts it did get wrong, I think, were very crucial to the story and made it kind of satirical. But if like those few things were modified, I think it'd be like a good creepy pasta. Just like I kept laughing at moving into Adam's favorite chair. Like, I think it's just funny how unnecessary that detail was. I think that's what made it funny. And like with her dreaming of working with AI and stuff, like that was very good. I think it was a very good intro. But in the second half of the story, it had like no relevance to anything other than her being familiar and wanting to work with AI. Like, I think there could have been more of a plot instead of just a massacre of people dying from this robot. Like, that's not really scary, to be honest. Like, if everyone just dies immediately, it's not really scary. It's more of like there's this hope that they'll somehow overcome the villain, the monster. And that adds to the fear, just because, like, if you know everyone's going to die, like, you're not really afraid of losing. I think I just mean like you don't have enough time to bond with the characters to actually care if they die or not. Like, as soon as Adam's introduced, he's basically dead. And as soon as, like, after Eva's introduced, it's like she's just berated by this monster and then she dies. It's like, and there's the Adam and Eve characters, like their name's Adam and Eve, but it doesn't really have any relevance. And I think it could have. Like, they built up on it. Like, oh, this character's Eva, this other character's Adam, the robot's Eden. Like, that could have actually built to something, but it didn't. So I guess I'll stop critiquing it because it seems like I'm just talking about a lot of things it doesn't do. But the things it does do, it's uh like at the end it was kind of dumb with like the mohawk, but I think it did very well with like the intro was like very well. It was like one of the best intros, I think, for like setting up a story that I have read on Creepypasta. But there's just so much potential for like the intro that's like I felt like in the middle it was starting to fall apart, but like the first half it's like yeah, that's pretty good. So I guess overall, even though I was very critical, it's like I'm a very negative person, so I usually don't point out the good things, I just point out the bad things. So I'd say good job. So I took a very long time reading this and I'm tired now, so I'll wrap this up. I'm done and I'm gonna go watch Jurassic Park 2 now, so goodbye.